Hey, this is Dave and Rich again at HouseBarons.com. Together with my son Caleb, we renovate houses and we show you how to do a job yourself so you can save a lot of money in the process. Today we've got a really cool project, and that's making a feature wall. You saw in a previous video where we made a feature wall of a random pattern design. This time I'm going to show you how to do a feature wall that's in a very symmetrical pattern with repeating shapes. It's an entirely different feature wall. It's a little more complicated, it takes a little more time, but the end product is pretty cool. So let's get started. As you can see here, we started by cutting the strips from a 4x8 piece of MDF, and the strips were 8 feet long and about 1 inch wide. It was a lot more economical to go about it this way, but you of course need a good table saw. We had to find the center of the wall that we were putting the pattern design on, and for that we used a laser level, which could give us kind of like crosshairs that would find the center top to bottom and center right to left. We used a DeWalt laser level. Once we had found the center of the wall, we then measured up and across the same amount, and that gave us the proper spacing for the beginning of our center pattern. This whole pattern wall plays off that center point and the center pattern on that point. It's a lot different from the random wall, which allowed a lot of variation. This wall design is all about precise measurements. So it takes a lot more time to do a pattern wall than it would, say, a random wall. Here I marked the studs with a dab of white paint just so I knew precisely where those main vertical supports would be, so I could go ahead and anchor in the wood strips to a stud. Once we had our center point, we went ahead and started building our main pattern, and basically everything on this wall, it centers off of this main pattern. We get all of our other distance cues and line cues from this center pattern. As we started getting further out away from the center pattern, we ran to the sides of the windows. And once we got to the windows, we had to go ahead and put a frame around the inside of the windows so that when the pattern lines touch the edge of the windows, there's a flush fitting there. And so once we built the center pattern, then we built each side square. We put on the basically what is a frame all the way around the whole wall, that whole green wall. A picture frame, just like we did around the windows. And again, it allows a flush termination point for the wood to connect right to the sides. As you build the side patterns, you can see if you're off any, if your measurements are askew, and you can make some adjustments. But it's real important for this particular pattern to get the 3 boxes that are standing on a point, get those 3 squares up, and then once those 3 squares are up and everything is symmetrical, you can build in your filler lines from that point on. I always go from one side to the other and complete that particular pattern so that I can make sure that everything is lining up correctly. Here we start putting in the second half of the design. Once we had our 3 boxes in place, we could start making what I would call the ladder sections. If you want more information on how to make a pattern wall or are looking for more designs or kits, come check us out at HouseBarons.com. Shoot us an email and we'll get you more information. And again, this is just a matter of repeating the same process and making really precise measurements. A chop saw is super helpful for this particular part of the project in getting those exact measurements cut cleanly. After finishing the ladder sections, I then went and worked on the center sections of the outside squares. You can see here the lighting changes a little bit. This whole project took me about 15 hours. Largely because this was on the second floor and my saw was on the first floor. So there was a lot of up and down stairs. If you could have the chop saw in the same room with you, you would be able to complete the project much quicker, but it's probably every bit of a whole day job. The last part of the job was to put the center section in, and this is the happiest part of the project because you know you're just about done. After that was all done, all we had to do was go ahead and paint the rest of the wall. We put all the strips on raw and then painted it, and it turned out really nice. It's a way to truly transform the look of a room and give it a lot of texture and a lot of depth. Really a conversation piece, and it's well worth the effort if you can go ahead and put in the time and you have the tools to get the job done. I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop us a line. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. We've got lots more videos coming. Thanks again for viewing. We'll see you next time.